Hello everyone, and welcome back. Today, I want to tell you a story that might challenge everything you believe about friendship. Meet Joseph Carter, a 73-year-old man who made a decision that most people would find shocking. He stopped chasing friendships. For most of his life, Joseph believed that having a strong social circle was the key to happiness. He was always the kind of guy who kept in touch with old friends. He organized gatherings and made sure to never lose connections. He truly believed that friendships were the foundation of a fulfilling life. But when he turned 70, something changed. His old friends started drifting away. He realized that many of his friendships were built on routine, not real connection. He found himself feeling disappointed, frustrated, and emotionally drained. So one day, he made a radical decision. He stopped worrying about friendships altogether. And what happened next? It completely transformed his life. He became happier. He became healthier. He felt more at peace than ever before. Today, I'm going to share with you 6 surprising reasons why letting go of friendships after 70 can actually lead to a better, more fulfilling life. By the end of this video, you might start to see your own relationships in a completely different way. Let's get started. 1. The truth about losing friends as you age. Joseph never expected to lose so many friends in his 60s and 70s. Some moved away to be closer to family. Others became less active and stopped reaching out. And a few simply drifted apart, with no specific reason. At first, Joseph tried to hold on to his friendships. He was the one always making the phone calls. He was the one organizing meetups. He was the one keeping things the way they used to be. But over time, he noticed something. He was putting in all the effort, while others barely reciprocated. Conversations started feeling forced and repetitive. Some friends only called when they needed something, not because they genuinely cared. One day, Joseph sat down and asked himself, "Why am I working so hard to keep these friendships alive, when they don't seem to care as much as I do?" That's when he realized he wasn't losing friends. He was letting go of relationships that no longer served him. And for the first time in years, he felt relief instead of sadness. Why friendships naturally fade over time. Many people believe that losing friends is a bad thing. But the truth is, it's completely natural. Here's why. Keycap 1. People change. The person you were at 30 is not the same person you are at 70. Some friendships just stop making sense over time. Keycap 2. Different life paths. Some friends prioritize family, while others focus on travel, religion, or personal hobbies. Over time, your values may no longer align. Keycap 3. Friendship requires effort from both sides. If you find yourself doing all the work to maintain a relationship, it's a sign that the connection isn't mutual. Joseph realized that trying to force old friendships to last forever was actually making him more unhappy. So he stopped. And that's when his life truly began to change. 2. Embracing solitude and finding real fulfillment. After Joseph stopped chasing friendships, he started asking himself, "If I'm not focusing on friends, what should I be focusing on?" And that's when he discovered the power of embracing solitude. For the first time in decades, he spent time doing what he truly loved, without worrying about impressing anyone. stopped feeling guilty about not keeping up with old friends, became more selective about who he let into his life, and he quickly realized something that changed his entire outlook on aging. Being alone doesn't mean being lonely. In fact, many older adults feel lonelier in bad friendships than they do by themselves. Why embracing independence can make you happier. Joseph started to see the benefits of focusing on himself instead of maintaining friendships out of obligation. Here's what he found. First, less drama, more peace. Let's be honest, friendships aren't always easy. People hold grudges. They bring drama into your life. They expect you to be available whenever they need you, but aren't always there when you need them. Joseph realized that by letting go of draining friendships, he removed unnecessary stress from his life. For the first time in years, he had peace of mind. Second, more time for what truly matters. Many people spend so much time maintaining relationships that they forget to focus on themselves. Joseph had always wanted to read more books, travel to places he had never been, learn a new language. But for years, he was too busy keeping up with social expectations to do any of it. When he stopped focusing on friendships, he finally had time to prioritize his own happiness. Third, strengthening family bonds. Joseph also realized that the people who truly mattered were already in his life. He started spending more time with his grandchildren. He reconnected with his siblings, who he had lost touch with. He focused on building deeper relationships with his children. Instead of spreading his energy across many shallow friendships, he poured it into a few meaningful connections, and it made all the difference. Fourth, freedom from social expectations. One of the biggest mental burdens of friendships is the feeling that you have to be a certain way to fit in. You have to call regularly. You have to attend social events, even when you don't feel like it. You have to agree with people just to keep the peace. But when Joseph stopped worrying about friendships, he also stopped caring about what other people thought of him. And that gave him a freedom he had never felt before. Joseph had spent most of his life believing that happiness came from friendships. But after 70, he realized happiness comes from within. And for the first time in years, he was truly happy. 3. The hidden dangers of holding on to the wrong friendships. Joseph had spent his whole life believing that friendships were essential to happiness. But what he never realized was that not all friendships are good for you, especially as you get older. After 70, keeping the wrong friendships can actually do more harm than good. Here's why. First, one-sided friendships drain your energy. Joseph started to notice that most of his friendships weren't truly mutual. He was always the one making the phone calls. He was always the one checking in and making plans. But when he needed support, they were too busy. At first, he made excuses for them. They must have a lot going on. Maybe they just forgot. But then he realized, real friendships don't feel like work. If you're constantly chasing after people who wouldn't notice if you disappeared, it's time to let them go. And when Joseph did, he felt lighter, happier, and free from the stress of one-sided relationships. Second, some friends bring more negativity than joy. Have you ever had a friend who always complains about everything? talks about the past but never the future? Focuses on problems instead of solutions? Joseph had a friend like this, Raymond. Every conversation with Raymond turned into a long rant about how terrible the world was. The younger generation is ruining everything. Nothing is the same anymore. What's the point of trying when we're just getting older? At first, Joseph felt bad for him. But then, he realized, every time he talked to Raymond, he felt worse. He started asking himself, why am I spending my time with people who make me feel worse instead of better? So, he made a decision. He stopped talking to people who only brought negativity into his life. And within a few weeks, he noticed something amazing. He had more energy. He felt more optimistic about the future. He started looking forward to each day instead of dwelling on the past. Third, keeping too many social obligations can lead to stress. Many people believe that staying social is always a good thing. But Joseph realized that forcing yourself to maintain too many friendships can actually be overwhelming. Think about it. Feeling obligated to return every phone call. Forcing yourself to attend social events when you'd rather stay home. Keeping up with too many people's lives instead of focusing on your own. Joseph used to feel guilty if he turned down an invitation. But when he stopped saying yes to everything, he finally felt a sense of peace and control over his own time. He realized, I don't have to be available for everyone. I can spend my time however I want. And for the first time in years, he felt completely free. 4. The unexpected benefits of letting go. At 73, Joseph made the choice to stop chasing friendships, and it turned out to be one of the best decisions of his life. Here's what happened when he stopped focusing on friendships and started focusing on himself. First, he became happier than ever before. Joseph no longer depended on others for his happiness. Instead, he found joy in reading books he had always wanted to read, spending time in nature, learning new skills, like playing the piano. And guess what? He felt happier and more fulfilled than ever before. For the first time in years, he wasn't worried about pleasing other people. He was focused on what truly made him happy. Second, he developed a deeper connection with himself. Joseph used to think that being alone meant being lonely. But once he embraced solitude, he discovered something amazing. He actually loved spending time with himself. He had more time to reflect on his life. He started writing a journal and recording his thoughts. He realized that he didn't need other people's validation to feel complete. And that gave him a sense of confidence and inner peace that he had never felt before. Third, he strengthened the relationships that actually mattered. By letting go of shallow friendships, Joseph had more time and energy to focus on the relationships that truly mattered. He reconnected with his daughter, who he used to take for granted. He spent more time with his grandchildren, teaching them life lessons. He built new relationships based on real connection, not just convenience. For the first time in years, he felt deeply connected to the people who actually cared about him. Fourth, he found a new sense of purpose. Without the pressure of maintaining old, fading friendships, Joseph had time to find new meaning in life. He started volunteering, mentoring young adults in his community. He learned a new language, just because he always wanted to. He started traveling alone, something he never thought he'd enjoy. Instead of focusing on what he had lost, he focused on what he could still gain. And that made all the difference. Joseph's story proves something important. You don't need a big social circle to be happy. After 70, the key to a fulfilling life isn't having more friends, it's having more freedom. Freedom from toxic relationships. Freedom from social pressure. Freedom to focus on what truly makes you happy. So, if you've been feeling stressed about losing friends, remember this. Maybe you're not losing friends. Maybe you're gaining peace. And that's something worth embracing. Your turn. What's more important after 70, friendships or independence? I want to hear from you. Do you think friendships are necessary after 70? Or is independence more important? Leave a comment and share your thoughts. And if you found this story inspiring, like and follow so you never miss another life-changing lesson. See you next time. Stay happy.